Hey guys, Alex from Boardgameco over here, and I hope your Sunday is off to a good start. Or I should start by saying I hope it is Sunday. I plan these videos out to a certain extent. I have my full weekly schedule listed on Patreon, but sometimes I change things up, especially when there's news, when there's Kickstarters, when there's whatever. So, again, hope your Sunday, or whatever day it is going well. And today we are covering Rallyman Dirt. Rallyman Dirt is by Holy Grail Games, who have a whole bunch of successful Kickstarters under their belt by now. They have done, let's go to the bottom over here, they've done Rising 5, probably their least successful in terms of aftermarket value. I'm not talking about the game itself, but aftermarket value, probably the least successful. From there we have Outlaws, which I don't really know much about, to be frank, didn't look into it. The Museum, which they've done 3 Kickstarters on now. They've done Museum, Museum Deluxe, Museum Pictura, and all those have done fairly decently. We'll come more to that. We have Domination's Road to Civilization, which is sitting on my shelf unplayed, and I really do want to play it. It looks very cool. We have Titans, which hasn't really hit people's shelves yet, so don't know much about that. That's one of those Kickstarters I kind of regret passing on, but either way. Then we have Rallyman GT, which will be a big focus of this video, and finally today's video, which is Rallyman Dirt. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of high production quality, and everything they put out does seem to be high production quality, and that's a big thing already. We live in a world where people want pretty. We live in a world where we want things that look nice, that feel nice, that drive us to want to play them. We're no longer in the days where, well, not no longer, but it's harder and harder to get a game to the table if it doesn't look like a game that we want to get to the table. We have to want to play the game, and they do a good job making us want to play the game. Speaking of which, they are currently at, this is day 1, I'm filming this day 1, you're seeing it Sunday or whatever day you're seeing it, but they are currently at $92,000, 980 backers with 20 days to go. They are doing phenomenally well, even if you compare it to Rallyman GT. Rallyman GT, if you look at KickTrack is a very useful tool, by the way. I've talked about it briefly in other videos. Very useful tool for seeing what's up or what happened, what went on. But looking at Rallyman GT, we can see that they barely hit €25 on the first, 25,000 euro, not 25 euro, 25,000 euro on the first day. They hit 511 backers on the first day, and Rallyman Dirt is already crushing those numbers. And the day is hardly over yet, so we have time to see how this plays out. I mean, it looks like they're going to get double or triple the numbers they got from Rallyman GT, and part of that is obviously they're bringing in the Rallyman GT audience, but stuff like that doesn't happen unless a game has enough of a buzz, enough of an audience for that to happen, for people to want to see this game, for people to want to back the game. So, what about the game? How does it play? All that stuff. So to begin with, I do highly recommend watching the Rallyman Dirt video. The downside is it is probably the most fun you will ever have compared to actually playing the game. They did a phenomenal job with that video, showing you gameplay, showing you mechanisms, well edited, well produced. The music hyped you up. The only downside of the video is it's going to be get that music playing in the background when you play Rallyman Dirt, because that is some hyped up music. It is probably far more exciting to watch the video than play the game, but the point is really not that it's a bad game. The point is it's a good video. I do recommend watching the video. It's a minute and 45 seconds. Pay attention to what it's saying as it goes. I am not a huge fan of campaign videos that don't show you how to play the game. I want a well-produced video because it can hook people in, it can bring them in the door, but you also want to show them enough gameplay that they understand what they're getting themselves into, and the video did a good job of that. As far as what's the game like, again, my videos tend to be a very, very brief overview. I focus far more on the value proposition. To my regular viewers, you already know that. Thanks for being here. If you just hopped on this video, you've never seen my stuff before, I generally include a link down below as to why I look at the value proposition on board games, on Kickstarter specifically, but board games in general, and this is going to focus more on the value, but gameplay briefly as well. So, let's cover the gameplay. Gameplay basically comes down to, and this is going to be very similar to Rallyman GT. Rallyman, by the way, Rallyman GT and Rallyman Dirt are effectively reproductions of the original Rallyman and Rallyman Dirt. With more specifically, this gets a little complicated here, so I apologize. Rallyman Dirt is kind of a reproduction of Rallyman and Rallyman Dirt combined, versus Rallyman GT was a kind of reproduction of Rallyman, but with a shift as to being more competitive and less just beating each other's time. So, and it's a little bit complicated, I understand. Point is, lots of backstory going on here from an original game, as well as from, the original game and then the new Kickstarter on top of the well-done Kickstarter. That weird tangent aside that probably was not clear enough to most of you. as far as how you play the game, you roll a bunch of dice and move. It's a roll and move game, but it's a roll and move game where it's all about mitigating everything. It's all about trying to account for your luck, trying to make pushes that push your luck a little bit, push your luck, while you try to accelerate along the track. It's about trying to pass your opponent in the right gear so you can actually get ahead of someone. It's trying to drift around a corner so that you can actually get a little bit. Every single thing in this game is all about rolling dice, but while doing so, trying to account for tiny amounts of efficiencies to help you win the game. Now, the difference between Rallyman GT and Rallyman Dirt effectively comes down to that part that I kind of blundered through a bit, but the difference between GT is more of a head-to-head race to the finish. Rallyman Dirt captures the spirit of the original, captures the way the original went, in the sense that it's not so much about getting to the end first, but rather as you race, as you go through the game, you're effectively trying to get the lowest time. So it's not necessarily from a gameplay time who gets there first, but different things such as what gear did you end your turn on? Did you roll all your dice at once, gaining you valuable seconds, or did you roll them one at a time, allowing you to more better plan your turn? There's small different things you can do that will affect the amount of time you have in this game. And that's thematically done through the use of these like second tokens. You have, at the end of each round, there's cards that will come out showing you how much time you spent that turn based on how much gear you were in, based on what gear you were in, based on what you did on the turn. And then these second tokens over here that will further affect and further modify your time to give you that feel for how fast did you make it through the track, how quickly did you get from point A to point B in Rallyman Dirt. So again, that's the difference, small differences, but the focus in Rallyman Dirt GT is more, more actual racetracks and more head-to-head, and Rallyman Dirt has more of a focus of the dirt paths, and they have snow, they have a snow expansion or something like that in here. They have something to do with snow. I don't recall if it's expansion or base game, but it's more of that focus of, dirt racing and a focus on time. Other than that, it's roll and move. If you like a game like Formula D, this is probably going to fill that same niche for you. It's a different game, not saying it's the same game, but it's going to be that genre. If you like Downforce, this is going to fill that same niche for you. It's going to be very similar to what we've seen in the board game world in terms of these racing games. A little different than Ave Caesar. Obviously, I think it's Ave Caesar. Again, I mispronounce things. If you're new to the channel, I mispronounce stuff a lot. A little different to Ave Caesar, which is more card-based. I'm not sure if it's Ave or Av. It's going to drive me nuts. Anyways, but Downforce and Formula D are good reference points for whether this is a game that you will enjoy, whether this is a game that's going to be up your alley. But again, it's very much uniquely its own beast. So that covers a whole bunch of stuff, mostly unrelated to the value. Let's talk about the value. Let's talk about the pledge levels. And this is a big deal because these pledge levels, they get steep pretty quickly. Now, this is all in euros. I'll try to refer to it in general in dollar amounts because I'm US based and I have a bias towards the dollar. Just, it's the language I understand. But going from there, I'm actually Canadian, by the way, just so you know. Canadian originally, in the US now. But what are the pledge levels? To begin with, we have the Spectator, which is basically that, getting in on the pledge level, getting in on the Pledge Manager pledge level. From there, we have 49 euros or $56 plus shipping. And shipping comes in, if I recall correctly, shipping comes in at 14 or 16 euro. Let me see if I can find that little chart there. Here we go. Yeah, shipping to the US is going to come in at 14 to 16 euro. Pay attention to this chart in terms of finding your own shipping zone and seeing how much more it's going to cost you, because that's a big deal. And the problem is, again, if you're a US backer, you have to convert that to dollars. So that's going to be like $16, $17 to $20 extra, depending on what pledge level you get, which is a big factor in that value proposition aspect. So let's cover back that pledge level. Pledge level, 49 euros, $56, making it, close to $76 or so, $74 for the basic pledge level to get this game. 74, okay? Now, that's not a good deal in of itself, and shipping always kills it. I do feel bad when going through these things, but shipping always kills Kickstarter deals. Because if you compare this to Rallyman GT can currently be bought on Amazon for in the range of $50. If you look at other game stores, and it's not readily available. Factor that in. It's not a hugely available game right now. They are going through a reprint, but this is definitely smaller print runs, smaller production runs. So if availability is your concern, factor that into your decision. Now, if you compare it to Rallyman GT, the original game, Rallyman GT had a similar 49 euro pledge level for the base game, but they also came with the soft tire set and all unlocked stretch goals, which is the usual deal. The question is, what are those stretch goals worth? Now, in Rallyman GT, those stretch goals were exclusive, so it really came down to how much do you care about the exclusive stuff. It was a different conversation. And those exclusive things, it's hard to find a lot of sale date on it, but it seems like you can get somewhere in the range of $30 to $50 for those exclusives making it worthwhile to back the Kickstarter. In the case of Rallyman Dirt, they are no longer going with an exclusive model, which kudos to them. It's always a tough balance between incentivizing people to back your game versus supporting the longevity of your game, supporting the ability for your game to build an audience, not just when you have the Kickstarter, but going onwards and forwards. It's a delicate balance, very hard to juggle it, but they are switching from exclusives to rather expansions that will be free for anyone who back the game, and then additionally the content will be cheaper than the retail price. Cheaper than the retail price is not, let me find that little bit over here. They had that bit, they actually have it in the update as well. So if you go to the update Flying Start over here, they cover that whole thing over here. We'll be revealing free content every day, and they have the full schedule of when expansions are coming. They're ditching stretch goals, they're going with daily updates, which I do like. I think that helps people plan a campaign better. I think daily updates, while slightly less exciting, do give backers that daily rush of finding out what new thing has been added, while minimizing the amount of back-end maintenance, while minimizing the amount of games you need to play with your funding level. I think daily updates are the way to go. I'm glad to see campaigns shifting that direction, and yes, I say that as someone who kind of prefers stretch goals as a consumer. I just think it's more sustainable for the company and the environment in general to go with daily updates. But in terms of that, all the daily updates will be part of either the 110% expansion or the co-pilot pack. And this is where it gets a little tricky. They will be available. They're going to be free to backers. They'll be available after the fact to anyone else who wants to buy the game. But they'll be available after the fact from, one of them will be available in stores and one directly from their website, which already is a hassle. So you have to factor in the hassle aspect. Well, you have to get it from a store later. You have to get it from the website. So in terms of a hassle factor, a hassle aspect to this, it might be just easier to get it now. But in terms of the cost for the base game now, that $49 pledge, €49 pledge level, compared plus the shipping, you're looking at around $76 to get this stuff. You're probably not saving much. And that is a trend that we see across Holy Grails games in general. You're probably not saving much. I don't think you're getting a bad deal. To be very clear, in no way do I think this is a bad buy from a pure monetary aspect, but it's also not a good buy. You're giving up your money a year in advance. We're talking about the basic pledge for right now, but you're giving up your money a year in advance. You're risking the fact that the game will be good, and this fortunately is a reprint plus a second version in the reprint series. It's Rallyman Dirt instead of Rallyman GT, so you are hedging your bet in terms of how good it is, and we'll get to that shortly. And you may not know if it's a game you like. You might be risking this. You haven't seen a plethora of reviews out there on the interwebs talking about this game and how it does. So there definitely is a risk factor to backing here, and ultimately it's going to come down to how much do you want to support the publisher, how much do you want to, engage with your FOMO, and how much do you want to get the game right away. Also, how much do you want to go through the hassle of buying the game from a web store. I know, speaking for myself, I rarely, if ever, buy stuff directly from the publisher, with few exceptions. It's nothing against the concept. I just don't have the mental headspace to remember, oh yeah, I have to go to their website and then buy this. Very often I don't get that. At the same time, if I don't, it also means it probably wasn't something I really needed. So balance that as well. Like with Chip Theory Games, I will go online, go to the website, and buy whatever I need to get a full set because I love Too Many Bones. But with many other games, if I can't even be bothered to go onto the website to get it from the manufacturer, from the publisher, how much can I possibly care about that content? That being said, let's go to the next pledge level. €99 or $112 for the sponsor, which gives you all of the expansions that are going to be released. Which, let's go down to that daily schedule. The daily schedule is over here, where they're showing you day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. I can keep counting. I'm good at that. Day 7, add-on reveal. Day 14, add-on reveal. Day 21, something tile. So that $112 thing, day 16 also had an add-on reveal. I almost missed that, sorry about that. And then we have day 9, an add-on reveal. Sorry, I missed some of those briefly because they're buried in the 2 rows instead of the big rows. But in terms of, and this is, by the way, this aligns very nicely with GT, where they have like 4 or 5 add-ons in the campaign. It looks like they're going with the same thing, more tracks, more stuff, more just content for a game system you might like. And the $112, or basically an extra, $50 to get those expansions, that is already a better deal. The increased shipping is absolutely minimal. It's €2 increased shipping. And in terms of what you're getting for that, you're getting 4, I think, let me just make sure I'm right about that. It looks like 1 add-on reveal, 1, 2, 3, four, yeah, it looks like 4 add-ons, okay? 4 add-ons, that puts you at $12.50 a pop when these things are going, and they're very hard to get already. If you look at the add-ons for the base game, they're going for like $15 a pop, plus shipping if you're not getting a $100 free shipping order, and then they are hard to get. They're very hard to get those add-ons. So if you're concerned about the full collection aspect, then I think the sponsor pledge is a better deal for you. I think if you're going for the driver pledge, as much as we want the game right away, if you care about the monetary aspect, I do recommend kind of waiting. It's 50-50, but I do recommend waiting a bit. Versus if you want the sponsor pledge, just from the pure hassle of everything, at that point I kind of do recommend going ahead, jumping in, just because you don't want to have to chase down those add-ons or hope they're in print. Add-ons in general don't stay as in print as frequently as regular base games. It's just a smaller audience, which means it's harder to plan around that delivery schedule. It's harder to make sure you have enough of the add-on stuff than you do the base game. So again, if you look for Rallyman GT right now, the add-ons are very hard to find unless you're looking third party or used or whoever. And finally from there, we have the Gearhead pledge. This is if you haven't played Rallyman GT and you want everything Rallyman GT. It's going to cost you $237 plus shipping to get everything. That is a lot of content. If you're doing that, I hope you've played someone's copy of Rallyman GT and really like it, because that is a lot of money to plump down on a game system that is kind of worth what they're asking, but not significantly more. It's a big risk, is what I'm saying. And this goes back to most of their other games. If you look at Holy Grail Games in general, if you look at, let's look at the ones that delivered, obviously. If you look at Museum, if you look at Rallyman GT, again, I didn't look at Outlet. Let's focus on Museum, Rallyman GT, and Dominations, okay? Those three, if you look at sales of those games, if you look on eBay, Boardgameco Marketplace, it seems they generally sell for roughly what people pay for it. Roughly. Sometimes less, sometimes not accounting for shipping. So this is one where I don't think you're going to lose a lot on, but if you do want to resell it down the road, if you play it and it's not for you, if it's not a good fit for your collection, you're trying to get your money back, you will definitely see a small hit. So you'll have given up your money for a year, plus you'll see a small hit at the end. Not the best deal. Rising 5, on the other hand, was a terrible. That one you're not seeing your money back at all. And Outlaws, for full disclaimer, I didn't look into it. I don't know why. I just skipped that one. And then Titans is not here, and the other museums are not here yet. So that is basically it. Those are the pledge levels. That's the game. A lot of overview here. There's a lot going on here. In terms of ratings, let's cover ratings. I didn't talk about that yet. The ratings for Rallyman GT, which I had briefly at some point up here. Let me find them. So the ratings for Rallyman GT are currently a 7.7 on BoardGameGeek, but take that with a grain of salt, and this is where it gets tricky. 7.7 is great. I think 7.7 is a great game. You should play it in general. But if you actually look at the ratings, the more recent ones skew towards mediocre. Not bad, but mediocre. It's 5, 6s, 7s. We had an 8 there. 5, 7.5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7.3, 7.5, 3, 8.5. If you look down further, there are more positive reviews, but I tend to try to look at more recent reviews. I find that's a better indicator, because when someone backs a Kickstarter and rates a game, that you can ignore that. When someone just got the game to the table because they're super excited and they just played it for the first time, not you could ignore it, but it certainly carries less weight with me. So if you look at the more recent reviews, they do tend to drift a little bit more mediocre. Not bad, and in line with other racing games. Downforce, Formula D, these are not games that are 8s or 9s. These are not games that have either the Ameritrash funness of like a Zombicide or who knows what, and nor are they intense strategy like Food Chain Magnate, Coimbra, Concordia. They fall into this middle zone of being accessible, half gateway, half gamer, half fun. They are interesting, to be sure, but my point is, I would assume it's more in the range of a 7 or to a 7.3, somewhere in that range, especially if you take into account recent. Does not mean it's a bad game. I would say one of the most common critiques I've seen, and I don't know if it applies to Rallyman Dirt. I tried looking into it briefly. I couldn't tell for sure if it would or wouldn't, but one of the most common critiques I saw from Rallyman GT is that if you are not in the lead, it is too hard and too annoying to try to get ahead of someone, and you have to risk too much to get ahead of someone, and then you'll spin out, and it just cements the lead player's lead. So, and that can be a common problem. If you find that the person in the lead in a racing game is just game over, I mean, I get rid of games all the time if you can see who's winning halfway through the game. I want a game to either disguise who's winning or just be tight enough that you really just don't know who's going to win. If you can see who's winning halfway through and you're just playing the game, it's just not fun for anyone. It's not fun for the people who are losing. It's not fun for the person winning. Hopefully it's not fun. You're a bit of a sadist if you enjoy just watching everyone just be sad the whole game. But hey, you do you. So yeah, that is definitely something to take into account in terms of whether this is a game for you. It's a racing game. There are certainly critiques. Look into those critiques. If you already like Rallyman GT, this is a much easier conversation. Go ahead and back this. I think the value is close enough that if you believe you like the game system, this is a good buy. It's more if you're unsure, if you're on the fence, that the questions start to pop up, and this falls into the, it's okay. It's not the most amazing back I've ever talked about. It's far from the worst. It's right smack dab in the middle. Something worth taking a look at, worth checking out. If it seems up your alley, look into it, and if you want to support the publisher, if you want to just cater yourself, go ahead and back it. This looks well done. Speaking for myself, what am I doing? Am I backing it? I don't know yet. I have Rallyman GT on my shelf over there. I just got it like last week, and I want to play it, and I hope I get it to the table before this Kickstarter ends. I have 20 days apparently, and if I do get it to the table and I do like it, then I will be backing this for the sponsor level. If I don't get it to the table, I will not be backing this, and if I get it to the table and don't like it, well, you can guess what I'll be doing there. I am Alex Radcliffe from Boardgameco. I hope you enjoyed this video. And for today's featured video of the day, I recommend checking out Rallyman GT review by Meeple Mountain. Meeple Mountain did a review. They did a how to play, how to overview and review of Rallyman GT. Great. I highly recommend checking those out. I mean, again, nothing against preview channels, but I like reviews more than previews. They tell me more about people's opinions. It's worth checking that out. It'll give you a good overview across the board of Rallyman GT, not Rallyman Dirt. Again, I am Alex from Boardgameco. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please subscribe down below. It does help the channel. Please like, comment, share it with anyone else who's relevant. And of course, we have a Patreon if you want to support there as well. Whatever you do, keep on gaming, have fun, and I'll see you next time.